Hello. Hello, hello. How are y'all doing today? I don't think I transferred this setting. I sure didn't. Something like that, I think is how I have it. But yeah. Welcome once again back to Final Fantasy XIV. I promise this is the last time. This is the last time for a long while. Because all we have left is just a couple more Hildibrand quests, and then you guys get a break from this for at least months, if not longer. Yeah. Last time, we were doing some of the Hildibrand stuff, and we made a startling revelation as to the nature of the Mandervilles and why they are just like that. But we are still looking for the friend of Master Poo-Poo, of whom I have a little copy of puppet. Don't worry about it. Who squeaks when they walk. At least I'm pretty sure they squeak. Hard to tell. Anyway. Of duplicity and duplication, Delian is ready to embark on his latest investigation. Oh god, what voice did I give anyone? Oh, it's been a week, I don't remember. Frelona. You're just in time to assist with my latest fact-finding expedition. Our reason for raiding to Charlian revealed that Poo-Poo's friend was in the company of a Hannish alchemist, yes? As such, I was inspired to do some preliminary legwork here in Thavnir. I contacted my usual sources for local sightings of alien phenomena, but alas, they had none to share. I have thus switched tactics and decided to track down this alchemist fellow instead. Surely someone would have heard the tale of an apothecary bold enough to set up shop on a Garlean battlefield. The inspector and the others have been pursuing a similar line of inquiry, yet have found no leads here in the city or at the Great Work. I believe that they've moved their investigation to... oh god. Yidlimad? To Yidlimad, so I suggest that we hurry over there and join them. Cannot have that little blue man muddying the waters when we're so close to grasping his master plan. Oh right, you think Master Poo-Poo's like dangerous. Forgot about that. How could you ever think this little guy is a threat? They're adorable. Alright, there you guys are. Oh yeah, we also, we have a low poly clone of Hildibrand called Brandehild. Hey, ghoul. Welcome, welcome. Oh, my friend is an exceptional individual, capable of astounding feats that I could never accomplish without the help of my starship's equipment. What else can you tell us about your long-lost comrade, Master Poo-Poo? I probably read those in the wrong order. It's fine. This port town would be an excellent place to analyze global trading trends. I mean, probably. I see the two of you are as eager as ever to observe my inspectorial genius at work. The long-term fans are often the most ardent. As a matter of fact, we were just about to continue our investigation into the alchemist that we know to have been traveling with Master Poo-Poo's comrade. Him with his ring pop of a rose. I mean to say, that is to say, I am merely following in the inspector's wake. You needn't be so modest, my dear Inspector Brandehild. 'Tis wrong of me to comport myself as an equal to you and to you all in any respect, for I am but a copy, and a flawed one at that. Stuff and nonsense. Clone or not, self-depreciation is unbecoming in a Manderville man. Exactly. The things that you can do are amazing. Oh, I don't know about that. 'Twas you who saved Fernlona from certain doom, was it not? Well, not quite as alatricious as mine, your rapid reasoning is nevertheless quite effective. Alacricious? What is that word? Why does this game keep introducing new words to me? Adjective, quick and eager. Yeah, acting or moving or capable of acting or moving quickly. Okay. Tis kind of you to accept me, rough edges and all. I only hope that my meager contributions are of some small assistance. Too modest by half. I'd say his mental faculties far surpass those of the original. Well, that's enough chin-waggling amongst ourselves, I think. Let us spread out and learn what the locals know of this adventurous apothecary. I fucking didn't even see you that time! The Lalafell! It's hiding in the bushes, I completely forgot that I have to keep an eye out for him. I see him this time, though. If I may, are you perchance acquainted with any reckless alchemists? How for your inquiries? Inspector Brandehild, blocky man of quality. Okay. I'm just like, okay. Have a nice nap, Nashu. It's fine. Okay. Don't mind me. Whenever I stream a PC game, especially if it's one where I need to use keyboard and mouse, I need to like fiddle with my setup a little bit. Perhaps if I emulated Inspector Hildibrand's cavalier attitude, that could be of greater use in our investigations. What do you know? You're fine. You've been of exceptional help. Do I know any apothecaries in Razathan? Of course, more than I can count. I've not heard tell of anyone peddling such goods in the heart of the Empire, though. Seems like a terrible idea to me with the Civil War raging and the world almost ending. The situation's improved in recent days, but even so, the Radiant Host still has to provide security for cargo ships. A lone merchant trading there alone? Impossible. Are you inside this building? Inspector Brandenhild is possessed of a brilliant mind. If you're willing to work for the Thavnarian Truth, I'd employ him in a heartbeat. Okay, no. Where? There you are. I know of many merchants who travel abroad to apply their wares, but none who have business in Garlemald. You'd have to be mad or desperate indeed to consider setting up shop in that troubled land. I mean, word is that we've signed some kind of trade agreement with the Garleans, but that's not the kind of place where one simply wanders in and opens a street stall. Oh, right, you probably don't need... probably don't need warm, weather clothes here. There you go, that's better. Yeah, I know the one who you speak. A fellow fisherman told me of a friend of his, an apothecary, who set off for war-torn Garlemald to sell his medicines. Reckless fool, if you ask me, and I've no interest in the affairs of such men, but you do, I take it? If so, I suggest you head to... Usaquig? And hear the tale for yourself. Look for a red-haired lad there gathering shellfish. Yeah, let me fiddle with the sound settings a little bit. Something maybe like that. Hey, Hildibrand, I have a lead, probably. It's in an unpronounceable place, at least for me, because I don't know how this language works. I barely know how English works. Ah, Frelona, I hope your questioning has borne fresher fruit than mine. Yeah, we need to look for somebody who's gathering shellfish. Oh, a good friend of the alchemist in question, you say? Then let us gather the troops and pay a visit to this fallacious fisherman. God, am I going to be allowed to punt this Lalafell? Please? I beg? The story of my apothecary friend? Oh, you must be in Baharasaf. Well, I was near enough to calling it a day anyway, so here's what I can tell you. Baharasaf comes from a very poor family, and growing up, never had much in the way of money or possessions. I suppose those experiences are what led to his lifelong obsession with gaining wealth. After trying his hand at a succession of trades, he decided alchemy would earn him the most gil, but his stock never sold as well as he'd hoped. So when he heard of the internal strife in Garlemald, he saw it as a golden opportunity. Surely the middle of a war was the best place to sell medicines. More like the best place for near-death experiences. He soon gave up on his Garlemald venture, but while one would have expected him to return to lamenting his ill fortune, Baharasaf was practically euphoric when I saw him again. A God's given blessing he'd found in the snowfields had given him much cause to celebrate. He said he learned how to create gold. Must admit, I laughed at first. But then he showed me a gleaming mountain of the stuff. Enough to proclaim himself a merchant prince. He even changed his name to Von Hootie, a word which brings to mind the bounty of the divine. A name I have heard! He's the rising star in the markets, is he not? The one snapping up commercial ventures left and right? Yes, Von Hootie has certainly made his ambitions known here in Thavnir, especially when he attempted to purchase the entire port of Yelenabad. The dockmasters declined to sell, of course, but when it comes to buying historic landmarks, a bottomless purse can open surprising doors. Last I heard, he'd converted the gilded Araya into a private abode and has been filling it with every rare treasure his gold can secure. Hey, welcome. Damn, 19 months. That's a long while. How was the, birthday thing? That's what you were doing yesterday, yeah? You're at, like, a friend's party or something? He pays out particularly large sums for artworks depicting the goddess Asura. I remember him being a fervent worshipper of hers, even as a child. I've encountered such Mansuya and Mirgal Loren Razathan, yet I recall no mention of this Asura. It was good, very low-key, but a nice surprise for them. Heck yeah. Hey man, sometimes low-key parties are like the best kind. Well, that's hardly surprising. As a deity of war, she's not well loved by the common folk. Baharasaf is different, though. He sees life as a constant battle to amass wealth, and it is to Asura to whom he prays for victory. And damn me if she didn't listen. That once poor boy became a merchant royalty, a man far too rich and important now to afford more than a fleeting moment for a simple fisherman. Even those who were once his dear friends. If you'll excuse me, I really must leave it at that. These clams won't sell themselves, you know. Yeah, I'm doing good. How about that, huh? Our sought-after apothecary and the upstart merchant prince were one and the same. Might we assume the blessing he stumbled upon in Garlemald was a certain alien craft and its occupant? Oh, hey! Sorry to intrude, but are you the hero who helped us when the folk were turning into beasts? Well, some nasty looking creature just showed up outside of town. One of our guards went to confront it, but I don't like her odds against that thing. This sounds like a case for Inspector Hildibrand. Come, friends, let us investigate forthwith. Yeah, the Lalafell needs to come too. So it's you again. The guard doesn't seem to be too scared. I thought you destroyed that monster. I have the situation under control, citizens. This individual bears a strong resemblance to a known fugitive, so I thought it prudent to investigate. Regrettably, he has proven less than forthcoming with answers. How many times must we teach you the same lesson, shiny skull man? How many times do we need to teach you this lesson? Lesson? What are you on about? Are there two of him? Cease this bumbling and get out of my way. Lord Vanahoody's orders are to cause trouble at the port, and I'm running behind schedule. Vanhoody, the merchant who tried to buy Hildibrand? So he put you up to this. Oh yeah, no, the the team for Final Fantasy XIV loves having, like, references to things. Like, you probably, maybe I've seen a screenshot of it, but back during New Year's, when there was, like, a New Year's event, because I want to say the Zodiac is, for the year's, the dragon, the quest, the, like, seasonal event quest for the New Year's event was called Unlike a Dragon, and it's like, oh, of course. Of course. They like to have fun. Curses, how did you manage to deduce our dastardly plan? You just blurted it out. Silence. No one who learns of our scheme can be suffered to live. Prepare to be squashed, meddlesome worms. Oh, hi. Hi, Godbert. Thanks for the save. Where did you come from? Why were you coming from the ocean? Yep, okay, there's definitely more than one. 3 more sinister skullmen. Was the doctor a quadruplet? Oh, hi, Julian! We haven't seen you in a hot minute. I missed you. Mother? Vexatious vermin? This'll soften you up. Is that a mine? And it's out of here! Is that a frying pan? Yes. Julian is a culinarian. And just like how Godbert is a goldsmith, culinarians and goldsmiths are supposed to be crafting classes and don't have any kind of combat capabilities. Julian and Godbert ignore that, and they are more than capable of fighting enemies with their crafting tools. Lucky hit. Come on, give me another one. Throw me a curveball. I'm ready. Do you know how much time I... Uh-oh. Not she just walks away. Okay, there she goes. Yes, sad Maji face. Like, I was literally about to brag. Do you know how much time I spend doing the freaking batting game in the Dragon Engine games? And then my character misses, and it's like, oh, never mind. One last pitch. I love all the fucking anime sport, like, shots we have in this quest line. It's been fun. We've had, like, volleyball, we had basketball, now we're doing baseball. Unlimited heavy hitter special! But that was my fastball! Yeah, see, look, he's fine. He's already up. I've come to expect father-son appearances, but what brings you here, Mother? A proposition from that merchant Von Hootie, as a matter of fact. I'm accompanying your dad as a manager for the Manderville and Manderville, and we were just on our way to the bloke's mansion. I've already refused Master Von Hootie once before when he tried to buy out our commercial empire. This time, however, the deal concerns offloading a quantity of gold at wholesale prices. 'Tis an attractive offer considering fine jewelry is our stock in trade, and we thought to at least listen to his proposal. But if he would purposely command his lackeys to disturb the peace of a public port, we can't do business with a thug like that. Absolutely not. Where did all those lackeys come from in the first place? Is there a hulking weaponized brute manufactory around here somewhere? Well, Poo-Poo ship can create copies. As I suspected, my ship's vaporation beam is configured to expunge only replicated matter. So you can copy inorganic materials as well. How interesting. Once the matter duplication facility has analyzed an object's molecular structure and can generate any number of copies. Yet it cannot create matter from nothing. A requisite supply of ether must be on hand to facilitate the process. Core, you sure know a lot, Inspector Brandehild. Even alien starships. This is no great achievement. As I've mentioned, the gaps in my knowledge were patched in with data from the starship's own archives. which included the vessel's full schematics and functions. Assuming I understand this correctly, is it possible Van Hoody is using the repaired alien craft to replicate piles and piles of gold? We share the same suspicion, Master Dillion. To my knowledge, no other method exists which can reliably produce precious metals. Of course! 'Tis the obvious conclusion! That being the case, one might further assume that Van Hoody is either threatening or deceiving Master Poo-Poo's comrade in order to gain access to the vessel's superior technology. Our course of action is clear. We must march right up to this gold spawner's front door and demand the release of his extraterrestrial hostage. I mean, don't have a better plan. I was hesitant to put stock in the unsavory rumors I heard, but this unprovoked attack on a port would seem to be incontrovertible proof of Van Hoody's villainy. Good to see you, friend Lona. And good to hear that you're still keeping company with our darling boy. That Porky lad's a new friend of yours. Smooth off the edges and he'd be the spitting image of our Hildy. Yeah, about that. You may or may not have a new son, depending on how this turns out. Congratulations? Question mark? The inspector's mother is as monstrously strong as the Manderville man. Except, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, if Hildibrand and Godbert and the rest of the Manderville men are, like, part alien, and that's where they get their absurd strength, where does Julian's come from? Yeah, congrats, it's twins? Like 23 years later? After you having your... Congratulations, after 23 years, your only son has a twin? Hey, Dev. Welcome, welcome. We just played baseball with a bunch of mines and a frying pan as a bat. That's how you need to know what's going on. All the stack of threats and deceits have me worried. I am given to understand that, while identical in appearance, the craft belonging to Master Poo-Poo's comrade is equipped with a more advanced technology. Well, at the very least, its matter replicator still works. That was a smashing hit for Lona. Thank you. We must confront this malicious merchant at once. If your heart's set on confrontation, then you may as well come with us. Van Hoody's invitation included a private airship flight to his new estate. We still need to formally reject his deal anyways. And his pilot will be waiting. Also, Julianne, Hildibrand's mother, is here. She's probably the most terrifying person here, and that is including me, and I've, defeated many gods. I swear that Godward is Colonel Sanders. I mean, he definitely looks the part. And as I believe I said last time, whenever there's the Christmas holiday event, and there's a character that decides to dress up as the in-universe version of Santa, it is usually Godbert. And people already compare Colonel Sanders to Santa. Venn diagrams, a circle, etc., etc. Gentleman at heart, Godbert is ready to lead you to Van Hoody's waiting pilot. In Japan, you do have KFC for Christmas. Exactly. I was like, what is that shadow? I'm like, oh, it's another player. Shall we be on our way? We're to meet with Von Hootie's pilot atop the rise just south of Kajia's footsteps. Oh yeah, but play music when mounted. See, there is a chocobo theme. Oh, is it louder when I'm moving? That's wild. So yeah, this is the chocobo theme. And it's like good for like long flights when I'm going across the map like this. But when I'm like constantly hopping on and off my chocobo, because it's like, you know, like, oh, there's an NPC here, I talk to them. Oh, there's an NPC like over here. Hang on, let me just hop on my chocobo and go over here. And then I get off and then I talk to them. And then I like, you know, get off and then I head back on and I talk to an NPC over here. And just hearing like those opening notes over and over and over drove me insane because the song wasn't progressing. And so I eventually just turned it off. But yeah, every mount has a song that can play. Like this is probably a 16 song? Because I believe this is the dog from 16? Who I unfortunately look very, very big on. Kinda looks like Wolflink a little bit. I also got the car from 15, so this is probably a 15 song. I don't know what the hell this harmonica song is, but here we are. One of your favorite things in FF14 is customizing the regalia. Neat. Yours looks like an absolute disaster. Oh boy, I can't wait for what mine's gonna look like. But yeah, one cool thing about the regalia car mount is that so most mounts can only carry you. The regalia can actually carry 3 other people. Like you can have somebody in the driver's seat or the passenger seat and the 2 back seats. Anyway. Oh, thank God Godbert put some clothes on. This version very much looks like the Batmobile. As you do. Lord Godbert, Lady Julian. And entourage? Pray excuse our presumptuousness. My son and his companions insisted they come along, desperate as they were to meet with the illustrious Master Von Hootie. Yep, just a bunch of fans. Don't you worry about it. I see. One moment, if you please. Not used to seeing it without an awful paint job and sick rims. Hell yeah. I will play and possibly stream 15 at some point, so I'm just like, oh boy, my car is gonna look awful. Lord Von Hootie should be glad to welcome you all to his home. Pray, step aboard and I shall take you there directly. Well, that doesn't look ominous. Find a way to make it into the Larga taxi from 5. Yes. Yes. You know, I do have the PC version because that's what Dev gave me. So if there's a mod that grabs the paint job from 5 and ports it to 15, I could actually use it. But there are so many mods for that thing out there. There's gotta be, right? There's gotta be. Welcome, honored guests, to my humble abode. I trust the view is to your liking. Since you traveled all the way from distant Ul'dah, a pleasant backdrop to our talks was the least I could provide. And what an unexpected boon is this? I'd been debating when to extend you a personal invitation, and now here you are. Like a wish come true. Save your act for the magistrates, Von Hootie. We know the secret of your ill-gotten gold. You will cease this exploitation of alien technology and release your hostage into the care of Master Poo-Poo at once. Unraveled all my schemes, have you? Good. I needn't waste my breath on tedious explanations then. This is Master Poo-Poo, I presume? I do have his fellow alien here with me, yes. As for exploiting their technology, I freely admit to duplicating a quite frankly obscene amount of gold, but that was merely the beginning. Imagine making a copy after copy of the deadliest weapons in existence. Would the world not be yours? Would the world itself not be yours for the taking? Let us get straight to the point. I want you at my side. With the vaunted warrior of light as the template for my clone army, we could conquer this and every other land in creation. No. Why? Have you not seen that one episode of SpongeBob? Where, I mean, I know it's a little different, but that episode of SpongeBob where Plankton, like, puts SpongeBob's brain into a robot body and thinks that that's gonna make it, like, obey? No! If you make a clone of me, we're all gonna kick your ass! Which actually, hey, in that case, can you please make a clone army of me? That would be great. That's not a bad idea, actually. I mean, that goes in line with what I was saying, but I don't think my character would agree, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I don't think she would want a clone army of herself. I would want a clone army of her, but I don't think she would. A pity. Yet I anticipated that you would prove an impediment, you would prove to impede my ascension. Yes, it seems the time has come to test Lugai's ritual of manifestation. All was prepared long ago in advance of your coming. This tower holds not only mundane treasures, but also caches of crystals. As for the requisite congregation of worshippers, well, I had but to clone myself. After all, who's more devoted to my cause and my goddess than me? This is a fucking Kingdom Hearts ass plot point. Isn't this literally fucking Xehanort's plot in like 3? Because he wants to turn people into, he wants to like Nort people and like turn them into him, but people are like, hey, I don't want to be you. And he's like, well, who wouldn't want to be me than me? And so he goes like time traveling and grabs like different variations of himself. I swear to God, that's the plot to Kingdom Hearts 3. Divine Asura, take up thy blades and wage war on mine earthly rival. Uh-oh. Are you gonna fight with me? Nay, Hildibrand, against the primal we may be more hindrance than help. We dare not remain within its sphere of influence. But I have the technology. We have the technology. We figured out how to stop that. I can give you all the thing, and then you can all help me fight. It would go down so fast if I had you and Julian on my side. We have the technology, though. Best of luck, my friend. I must make a gentlemanly withdrawal. But we have the technology. You can't help. We figured it out. Oh boy. Gilded Oriya is now accessible. Oh boy. And now we wait. Oh hi, you just teleported me to your arena, huh? Okay. Von Hootie has welcomed you into the Gilded Oriya, the historical vault within which he houses his many wondrous treasures. But it is not wonder that fills your heart when you spy the ominous devices lining the side of the structure, devices you remember seeing inside the Tower of Babel. Your sense of dread is justified when the summoning begins. Drawing upon the devotion of the imprisoned faithful, the corrupted incarnation of a Mansuya is brought into being. She is Asura, a deity of battle and conflict, and whether you wish it or not, your mettle will be tested. Oh boy. Do I try to go for the tank in hopes that I get the shorter queue? How long do you think this is? Do you think this is going to be 7 minutes? What if I was a tank? How long do you think it'll take here? What do you mean you think it's going to take longer as a tank than it as a DPS? That's not how that works. I mean, I'll take it, I guess. Also, hey, I started building the Manderville weapon. You know, the questline that Godbird kept, like, talking to me about. This is its second to final stage. It looks pretty cool. Hey, you wait right there. I'm gonna go leave. You have fun. I don't want to wait there where the music's like the loudest thing in the goddamn world. Okay, what can we do as I wait for the queue? What can I do? Oh, hang on. I know what I can do. I can kind of explain how combat classes work. I forgot. I immediately forgot that I turned on the mount music setting. And so when the Chocobo theme started playing, I got really confused. There are dummies over here, right? Yeah, here we go. Okay, so combat in this game. You have technically 3 classes, or 3, like, you know, like roles, with DPS being split into a further 3. You have your tanks, you've got your healers, and you've got your DPS, which in turn is split into melee, physical ranged or simply just ranged, and then magical ranged or caster. If you are a tank, like I am here with my Dark Knight, your main job is to, yes, do a bit of damage, but it is primarily, as you can probably guess, to grab the enemy's attention and be like, hey, hit me instead. Every tank has a basic 1-2-3 combo like this. They then also have an AoE combo, a 2-parter like this, so that if you're like pulling in the middle of a dungeon, you can hold the attention of multiple enemies. Also, so long as you have an enemy like targeted like this, you will also auto attack every now and then. Every tank also has what is known as a tank stance. For Dark Knight, it is Grit. For Gunbreaker, it's Royal Guard. I forget what it's called for Warrior or Paladin because I don't play those. But basically, whenever you start a duty, if you're the only tank, you do this. If you are the off tank, you will wait a little bit before activating it, where you turn on this tank stance. Now, what a tank stance does is it has it so that you gain enmity and aggro way faster than you would without it. You want to turn this on because if you don't have it on, if a DPS is doing really well, or if a healer is healing a lot, they are going to accidentally start pulling aggro instead of you. And you don't want that because they are not built to take a bunch of hits like tanks are. So you will turn this on, and then you need to make sure you are doing damage to an enemy, and doing that, you should basically be ensured that you will hold the enemy's aggro. Now, every tank also has several skills that kind of do the same thing. Like for Dark Knight here, we have Shadow Wall, reduces damage taken by 30%. Rampart reduces damage taken by 20%. Reduces magic vulnerability by 20%. Reduces magic damage taken by self and nearby party members by 10%. And you may be like, huh, those all sound like the same skill. Yes! That is because you are meant to stagger them. So like you would activate Rampart for the 20% damage reduction, and then which lasts for 20 seconds. And then once it is done, pretend this is done. You would then activate, Shadow Wall for a little bit. For your 15 seconds? Yeah. Just to make sure that you constantly have some kind of damage reduction on. So yeah, you're an aggro magnet. That is your role as a tank. Is to just hold the aggro so that everybody wants to hit you real bad. And ideally, so I can't show this off with the training dummy, enemies will turn to face you. If you are a tank, it is very important that you make sure that the enemy is facing away from your party members just in case they start using AoEs. So that, it's only going to hit you and not the rest of the party. That is a very important thing. Also, a general thing about combat is, so you see how when I use my 1-2-3 combo, some skills also have a little loading bar basically. All right, well, I can't. How do I let go of the dummy? Get me out! Let me go! There we go. Let me swap. Let me swap. There we go. Basically, you have skills that are on global cooldowns and skills that aren't on global cooldowns. If you want to be efficient at combat, you want to make sure that you are essentially weaving in abilities that don't use the global combat in between your attacks that do use the global cooldown. Let me also just spell things correctly. And then hide it.
I am Asura, and on battle I thrive. Have you the courage?
So yeah, I can't explain this fight at all because I haven't seen it. Also, sorry if the sound is a clusterfuck. It is difficult to figure out the balancing mid-combat. So let's see, she had a big, like, ring danger puddle. That's her tank buster. So, like, yeah, as you can see, the tank is, like, the main tank is, like, faced away. Like, has the boss faced away from everybody else. That is just general tank like, etiquette.
You've not time to blink.
Where do we go? I don't know. I'm following the tank in hopes that the tank knows what's happening. But yeah, whenever you are in doubt, follow what everybody else is doing.
Tremble before the might of the minutiae. Come forth, embodiment of carnage.
Oh, you're making a big clone.
Revel on the bloody field of war.
What does that do?
Spirit
I'm scared.
awakens. Sharp is the light.
Ugh. Get out of that. Get out of that danger puddle. That's bad.
The weak shall perish.
I think the other summoner is disconnecting and having internet issues.
Hear the gleaming edge.
Okay. And this is a donut AoE, which means that you want to be inside of it and not in the glowy orange bits. Move! I don't think I moved in time. I sure did not. Nope.
Shine upon you.
So yeah, these are danger puddles. You don't want to be in them when they disappear, or else you take big damage. Like this! And getting hit by danger puddles attacks will eventually, and higher level stuff will give you bone stacks, which means that you take more damage the more you fuck up. Oh, you're doing how many? What do you mean I got hit by that? I call beans. I call beans! And that's why you don't want bone stacks.
Fury be my strength.
What does this do? Red face? Red face, so I guess that you stand in blue.
I will scatter you.
I'm assuming that is what that was.
Show me your steel.
Oh god, what the fuck are you doing? Ma'am? Ma'am, can you calm down? Stop! Stop with the lines!
The spirit of battle awakens. Sharp is
Nope,
the
nope, get away, get away! I'm going to take it. This is the get in because everybody's moving in. Oh, good. You have your clone moved. Can you not with the clones?
Here, the gleaming edge.
Ma'am, you're scary. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're fine. Almost got hit by that again.
Unmerciful light shine upon you.
Hey, is this other summoner back? Has your disconnect recovered? Oh god, nope, that fuck. Oh, we all got hit by that. All of us got hit by that.
Behold the sixfold blade.
Oh god, not again. Not again. We just kind of move in a circle, but fast. Too far. Hey, I survived it that time at least.
The face of battle is ever changing.
Oh, I just fucking used my swift cast.
Joyful is your down.
Blue face, so I'm gonna assume that means we stand in red? Because that's what everybody else is doing.
I will scatter your bones.
But yeah, you don't want to be in danger puddles when they go off, but you can stand in them all you like as long as you're out when they go away. So that's why with like that one, for example, I would show up on the one that appeared second.
Bleed.
Because that one was technically safe until the first one went off. I'm trying to explain this while also learning new mechanics. This is an experience and a half.
You've not time to blink.
Where are your clothes? This is a safe spot.
Show me your steel.
Doing this again, hot. Come on. Come on. Yeah, we did it. Again, sorry if the audio is a clusterfuck. I need to figure out a good balance for battles. The healers have left, so I'll come to tank. Why not? I followed what you were doing a little bit. Good show, Frenlona. It would seem that you thoroughly trounced that pesky primal. And even as we speak, Mother and Father should be informing the Radiant Host of that despicable Von Hootie's wrongdoings. Divine Asura defeated. Turn the wheel. We flee for now. Who's flying the starship without my permission? That treasure is mine and mine alone. You called your vessel, Master Poo-Poo. No, I did not. That's my friendship. Oh, Master Poo-Poo's friend is pissed. At last, the moment of sweet reunion is at hand. I'm so relieved to see you safe. Likewise, my friend. But why did you open fire on the airship? Didn't that man help you after you crashed? He did at first. He pulled me from the wreckage and saw to it that my vessel was prepared. So in return, I replicated whatever trinket he desired and taught him the basics of starship technology. But that resulted to be a terrible error in judgment. When I was infected by one of the star's unique pathogens, he took advantage of my weakened state. He seized my ship, flew me out to the jungle, and left me there to die. Slowly, agonizingly, I was able to synthesize a cure for my affliction, and then I came back to reclaim my property. How dare he? I feel like that's the greater crime than summoning the god that he tried to kill me with, is how dare you leave this poor alien to die and steal their things? This experience has led me to conclude that the dominant sentient life forms here are dull-willed, help. Uwu speak. I'm slipping into Uwu speak, help. This experience here has led me to conclude that the dominant sentient life forms here are dull-witted, cruel, and entirely unsuited to peaceful cohabitation. We must launch a full-scale invasion. It is the only way to guarantee your survival. No, they're not all like that. These ones have been nothing but kind to me. Oh yes, they're all smiles till they laser you in the back. We have to strike first before they show their true colors. No, wait, no. Please? Uh-oh. Yeah, run! It's going haywire! The ship's reactor core has been breached. If it explodes, everyone in the vicinity will be atomized. And we're all in the vicinity! Brandahild, no heroic sacrifices. Think, damn it, think! If I'm to stop the explosion, I need to traverse the considerable distance to the airship, but I can conceive of no logical solution. No logical solution, you say? Yes! You look at them go! They're working together! Again, I love how Hildibrand's little, like, brain blast things are just cartoon drawings. Crayon scribbles. Inspector Brandahild, you must employ my father's mighty moves to propel me to the vessel. I, too, have calculated that Lord Godward's signature techniques are our only means of achieving sufficient propulsion. Yet, there is a flaw in your proposal. I lack the strength to properly perform the throw, and I have no time to teach you the starship's controls. Inspector Hildibrand, it is you who must fling me! Also, if you hear the shutter noise, that's me taking screenshots. Look, Godbird, aren't you proud? He's using your moves! Skyward, as only a Manderville can! Wrong way! I, lost my grip. Come on, how do you fix this? Given my trajectory and velocity, the correct shift and posture should generate enough lift and processional motion to... Yes, I can still make it! He's turning into a boomerang! Brandehild, no heroic sacrifices. I refuse. I'm attached to you already. Tis too late. The reactor is going critical. There's only one way to save the day. Inspector Brandehild! Our brief time together was more than any defective clone could have asked for. Be well, my friends. Damn it! I said no heroic sacrifices! Although, there's still hope. Quote-unquote defective clone he may be, he is still a clone of Hildibrand. And if we know one thing about Hildibrand, it is that he is explosion resistant. If Brandehild inherited that bit, he might still be okay. He might still be okay. Yeah, they're not dead if you don't see a body. Exactly. Is this case closed for Inspector Brandehild? You look so sad. Nay, my loyal assistant. As a chip off the old gentleman, our dear Brandehild has surely survived to tell the tale. We shall see him again, mark my words. I hope so. I've attached already. You rescued me, even though I tried to incinerate you with high-intensity plasma blasts. Even at great cost to one of your own. If only I could make amends and earn your forgiveness, but alas. There's not to forgive, though with his blocky constitution, Inspector Brandehild will be just fine, I assure you. As a friend of Master Poo-Poo, you are a friend of ours. And what are a few minor plasma burns among friends, huh? Our home planet, it was lost to the phenomenon you call the final days. We only survived because we were away exploring the cosmos at the time. Our explorations, which have heretofore served no purpose but curiosity, shifted to a search for a safe haven. We visited countless stars, but all had succumbed to the same insidious ruin as our own. Growing desperate, we decided to settle on any suitable refuge we could find, whether it was populated or not. If the native beings were hospitable, we could live peacefully among them. If not, we were prepared to claim a new home by force. So it was that I arrived at your miraculous planet. Lulled by the apparent absence of metaphysical chaos, I blundered into a mundane war zone. where I was promptly shot out of the sky. The rest you already know. Having fallen behind during our search, I hurried here when my communications received no answer. That was when I met you, Inspector Hildibrand. Those touched by despair of the final days are reduced to beasts. Given our savage willingness to invade your star, it would seem that, in a sense, we fell prey to that despair after all. Fortunately, my encounter with you generous people has brought me back to my senses, an outcome for which I am profoundly grateful. That said, there's nowhere else for us to go. Would it be too much to ask for us to live here on your star?
Well, of course you must stay. And I suspect you'll be wishing to repair your damaged vessel.
Oh god, not again!
Is this how he's going to get his send-off? It sure is. Mummy!
No, Inspector, not again! Wait for me!
Never a dull moment around our Hildibrand.
At least we needn't worry if the ship crashes. Not with an impervious Mandarin villain on board.
Funny you should mention that. Upon reviewing the Manderville family tree, 'twas made clear that a lord without heirs of his own passed the name to an adopted child several generations ago.
Are you saying that you and your son are not direct descendants of Godbrand, the alien progenitor of the Manderville line? Then, how do you explain your unnatural sturdiness?
When it comes to building strength and perfecting gentlemanly technique, 'tis not one's lineage which matters, but rather the unbending conviction within one's heart. Though Godbrand's bloodline has be broken, House Manderville shall live on through us.
If the begoggled boy can't swallow that explanation, I've also heard talk of some unseen power driven by feelings and emotions. Could be that you and Hildy have tapped into that cosmic essence.
Oh, if that's the case, then you must be positively swimming in it, my dear. Every, thing appears to be under control here, so let us return to the city, shall we?
So they're tapping into Dynamis, okay.
Takes after you, Godbird, put some fucking trousers on. There is exactly one scene in this game where you get to see Godbert with actual pants and not just his short shorts. There is exactly one, I think.
Even his statue at the gold saucer is him naked, or, you know, in his underwear.
Oh, once more do I find myself hurtling at a superlight of speed towards an unknown destination. Another day, another thrilling case for Hildibrand, Agent of Inquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire.
Well, at least you're not hurtling? Like, you're just riding the spaceship.
Being just like letting it hang out, huh? Apparently. And it was really funny too, because when I got to that scene and I saw him wearing pants, my immediate reaction was, who are you and what have you done with Godbert? This man does not wear pants. Who are you? Thanks to an enlightening conversation with Master Poo-Poo on the way back, I believe I have the answers required to proceed with our weaponsmithing project. I trust the endeavor yet holds your interest. Pray, inform Master Geralt of your willingness to assist, and my hammer and I shall make all the haste to the High Crucible. With that, I bid you good day. Thank you for looking out for our beloved son. I'm sure him and the blocky lad will be back for more cases before you know it. I've completely lost what accent I gave Julian. Oh well.
You've got above and beyond for us, Frilona, so I'd like for you to have one replicated starship we made. It doesn't have the duplication facility or other such technology on board, but it will carry you through the skies. Use this key to call it whenever you wish.
Oh hell yeah, new mount? New mount?
As for the two of us, we've decided to get to know our new home better by embarking on a journey of exploration. And so this is where we must say our farewells. And so this is where we must say our farewells. Thank you for everything. We're fortunate indeed to have met you.
Oh god, I have hiccups. Help. I'm taking poison damage. Seems Poo-Poo wasn't planning an invasion after all. He even stopped his friend from launching an attack. I'm calling an end to this investigation, Frilona. Your unfailing support during this entire ordeal has been most appreciated. Thanks to you, I was able to observe the inner workings of Charleon, and even travel to the surface of the moon in search of the truth. And when my own conspiracies threatened to blind me, you were there to open my eyes to the true shape of things. But this world yet harbors its share of the strange and inexplicable, not the least of which is the source of Hildibrand's impossible physiology. If not alien, then... aha! Mayhap he's the product of a hyper-advanced civilization from the distant past? The descendant of some gruesome biological experiment. Did you not just catch how... okay. Someone needs to plumb to the depths of these unexplained phenomena, and I am the very man for the job. Yep, UFO identification key. Hell yeah. New mount, new mount, new mount. Oh, right, yeah, the anime credits. And it's everyone, even the freaking Sin Eater. The Lopperd's dancing, there's the goddamn Lalafell. Hell yeah. Hildibrand will return? Well, they confirmed that Dawn Trail is going to get its own branch, but that's going to happen years from now. Yeah, you creepy weirdo. Oh, hey, you took off your hat. Oh god, are you anime training? What are you doing, you creep? I actually kind of completely lost track of you and stopped looking for you. Which is probably not good. Oh boy. Oh no. What is this supposed to be? We're not not gonna find out, are we? This is gonna cut me back to the city, isn't it? Okay, nope. Okay, we actually are getting the continuation. See, he lives! Brandhild is fine! He inherited the explosion-resistant properties of Hildibrand. Love his blocky render. Me too. Hang on, I need to go look at this UFO mount. I need to look at this UFO mount. UFO, while appearing to be identical to Poo-Poo's starship, this replica lacks certain functionalities as such as matter duplication facility, which, in light of recent events, is probably for the best. It is also unable to shrink you to a size to fit inside the cockpit, meaning that you do not so much as ride as you are dangled around in its tractor beam? Incredible. Incredible. Awesome. I'm being abducted by aliens. Yeah, this is a really good mount. Squeenix needs to make a full game in that style. You'd be down to clown 100%. Oh yeah, no. Like, doing like a purposely like low poly game, that would be great. Go make some crop circles. I wish I could. All I got is just dragging my body around. Awesome. And then you just like get dropped. I guess I'll finish my explanation of how, like, combat works. Although I'll use a different dynamite because, that one. Also, hang on, I keep needing to change my settings. There we go. This is what it feels like when you have to go in the work. What, just getting dragged? What was I saying? Oh, right, yes. So I have certain skills that, you know, have the, have like the little wheel. Whenever I press them, those are cooldown skills. So like, as long as it is there, I can't, you know, use it. However, there are skills that, you know, don't activate the wheel. If you want to do the most you can, you basically want to try your best to put in these skills that don't have a wheel on them in between you using the ones that do. This is called weaving. Stop. Of course, the problem is I actually don't know how to stop being in combat, so I can swap classes faster. Some alien being just takes over your body and drags it to work. Can you stop? How far away do I need to be? Please? Let me go? So I can swap classes and show things? Thank you. But yeah, we also then have melee DPS. Melee DPS is fairly similar to tanking. In that, as you can probably guess, you have like your combos. Although, the combos for melee DPS tend to be a lot more involved. And then the tank's just simple 1, 2, 3. You also can't use your skills if you're too far away because, you know, you are a melee. Tanks also suffer from this. However, every single tank and melee DPS class, with the exception of Monk for whatever reason, have at least one skill. Hey, boops! Where you can do damage at a distance. So that, like, you know, if you're, like, trying to get away from danger puddles or whatever, and, like, the enemy's, like, just kind of going nuts, or, like, you know, the enemy's, like, teleporting all over the arena, you can still do something as you try to, like, catch up to them. Again, every, tank and melee DPS, except for Monk, has one of these. For whatever reason, Monk just doesn't. Sucks to be a Monk, I guess. Yeah, we have a little poo-poo. Because we finished the Hildibrand storyline, so now I'm just finishing my explanation of how classes work. Just like with tanks, and basically any class, you will want to be using, off cooldown skills in the middle of, you using cooldown skills. Depending on your internet connection, you should be able to fit at least, like, 2 safely. Maybe even a third if your internet is really good. In between, like, cooldown skills. But if you are a melee DPS, you also have to take care of positionals. Some of your skills, like this one, for example, as you can see, the, like, third green line says Weir combo potency 300. Or, you know, the description itself says delivers an attack with a potency of 100 or 140 if executed from a target's rear. So, like, for example, if I do this, like, that does, like, nearly 6,000. That does nearly 8,000. I couldn't see what number that did. That did nearly 6,000 again. But if I were to move to the rear, where it says it wants to be, that one does, like, nearly 7,000. And, like, see, the non-crit ones are now doing nearly 7,000 instead of nearly 6,000. And similarly, this one is like, hey, you want to attack the flank. So if I attack the flank here, okay, that was a crit. So it's hard to tell. But yeah, if you were melee DPS, you were most likely going to be, like, hanging out back here at the boss's butt, because, again, ideally the tank has the enemy faced away from you. And you are going to be, like, sliding between the flank and the rear, to try to get the most out of your abilities. So you can, like, see, like, how this circle here is like missing the back bit, this means that this enemy actually will like benefit or suffer. You will benefit from using positionals on an enemy that is missing this back bit, because it's like the back bit is the rear, and then like basically the sides are the flank. If an enemy has a full circle, or if the enemy is large enough that they are considered a wall boss instead, you don't have to worry about positionals, because they just straight up like don't have a rear, which means they also don't have flanks. And so you can kind of just stand wherever the hell you want for those. I was going to say something else. What was it? Oh, I don't remember. What else was I going to say? Oh, right, yes. So I believe Dragoon is my only melee class, so I'm not entirely certain. But I believe, yeah, okay. You can see at the bottom the affinity. Love an FF living wall boss. Yep. Not. Hey, you remember the demon wall from Final Fantasy VII? That shows up several times in this game. But yeah, if you are struggling to get into positionals with your melee DPS, you can also activate True North, which means if I activate it and then I use, you know, these two, which are rear skills, even though I'm in the front, they should still benefit. Yep, the nearly 7,000, even though I am not at the rear. So if you're ever struggling with positionals, just activate a True North. You get 2 charges of it, and a charge will regenerate every, like, 45 seconds or so. God, I wish I knew a faster way to not get into combat other than just run away. There we go. Or not? Why is it like disappearing on me? Hello? Alright, let's show off Mechanist for ranged physical. So ranged physicals do physical classes, which are going to be Bard, Mechanist, and Dancer, are not restricted by the little melee distance thing. You can attack from basically very far away. Like, there's the limit. You can be this far away from your target and still do damage. You can also move around while doing it. So, during a dungeon, if the tank is, like, deciding to go wall to wall and try to grab every enemy they can until they hit a stopping point, you have no excuse to not be doing damage because you can move while attacking. Of course, because of this, technically, you do the least amount of damage compared to any of the other classes, or any of the other DPS classes. However, that damage drop-off is so nothing that it barely even matters. Like, for example, it would be something like if a melee class can do, like, 100,000 damage, and a casting class does, like, 95,000. Like, in the time it takes a melee class to do 100,000 damage, a caster class might do, like, 100,000 to 95,000. Caster does 95,000. A ranged might instead do, like, you know, maybe, like, 85,000. But it doesn't matter, because the enemy is going to die at 70,000 damage. Like, it doesn't matter. Yes, you technically have a little bit less damage than the others, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, ranged attack classes tend to be a bunch of different, like, off global cooldowns. You're just, like, building meters. You have a couple. Every class has them, but ranged also, like, has a bunch of, you will have party-wide buffs, like, you know, reduces damage taken by nearby yourself and nearby party members, lowers the target's damage by whatever. You're also in charge of having a peloton, which increases movement speed. It doesn't work if you are currently in battle, but if you are out of battle and like you're running through a dungeon or an alliance raid, you have the very important job of making sure everybody goes fast so that the alliance raids go by faster and don't take like an hour to do. If you're getting more hits in overtime, you're probably making up for the slight damage penalty anyway. Yeah, exactly. Again, it's like if you like look at raw numbers, you are technically doing less damage than the melee and caster DPS, but it doesn't matter. And then also for DPS, you have your casters, which I guess if I'm to show off what casters actually look like, I should be a black mage, because the other two casters of summoner and red mage don't show off what casters are like very well. Yeah, if you don't have to worry about damage drop off during movement phases, you have persistent damage. Exactly. Exactly. So casters, or melee, or magical ranged, as you may want to call them, have cast bars. If you try to move, you may have seen this during the Asura boss fight, but if you move while casting, your skill gets interrupted and it doesn't actually cast. Like, you don't lose the MP for it, but nothing happens. So with casters, you ideally want to like pick a spot and pray that you don't have to move to avoid a boss's attack. There is, however, a little bit of a grace period. If you move while your cast bar has about less than half a second left, like that. Nope, hang on. Like, fuck. Timing it is hard. Like that. You may have seen on that third attempt, I was able to move, but the cast bar was still going. This is known as slide casting. And slide casting is very important because basically the game has considered your skill already cast by that point, because this game has a little bit of built-in lag to try to like help like players that have like bad internet connections. Yeah, latency. So if you're ever in the middle of a like boss's like danger puddle and you're in the middle of a cast, you kind of have to gamble. Is it worth it to just automatically interrupt your attack to like make sure you get out of the way, or do you greed it and see if you can last long enough for you to reach slide cast like range and then try to move in hopes that you still have time to avoid it? At least that's how casters would work if every caster was reliant on cast bars. At the moment, despite there being, okay, technically 3 main casters, only Black Mage really suffers from this. Also, the cast bar thing also applies to healers, because healers are basically caster DPS, because, hey, everyone's a DPS. Just because you're a healer doesn't mean you don't do damage. You do damage if everybody is good. If you're pretty certain that the next attack isn't going to kill someone, you should be doing damage as a healer. Casters were sure would be standing in that puddle, says you, the raid healer. God, how far away from this goddamn thing do I have to be? That's interesting. That's newfangled raiding. But yeah, the reason why I joke about how only Black Mages suffer from cast bars is because, for example, Red Mage here has a really cool innate gimmick to it. So it has, you know, your normal cast bars or whatever, But it also has some absurd ones that are longer than the Black Mage's ones. That, you know, take like 5 goddamn seconds to cast. That's insane. That is because of Red Mage's gimmick. If you cast anything with a cast bar, you get a thing called dual cast. The next spell will require no time to cast. So you know how Ver Arrow took like 5 seconds? Hey, now it's an instant. And if I try to do it again, you know, it's going to take 5 seconds. But if I use Jolt, which only has like, you know, a like 3 second cooldown, the next one is shorter. So basically with Red Mages, your entire kit is you alternating short cast skills with skills that typically have longer casts so that, you know, you get the most out of it. Because of this, you only have to stand still for that initial cast and you get to move around. You are much more mobile than a Black Mage. You get to just kind of mess around. Red Mages also kind of have a thing where you have melee. That's a thing. You have a question? Yes, Boops? Is dual cast like the, you cast one spell, then the next instant cast of that specific spell, or is the next spell just instant? The next, skill that, with dual cast, the next skill that you cast that would have a cast bar is instead instant. Like, for example, Fletch here is an instant cast. So if I were to, you know, do this and then use Fletch, I still have my dual cast because dual cast isn't affected by it. But if I use a Ver Arrow again, which does have a cast bar, it did use up the dual cast. So because of this, and the fact that Red Mage has access to a raise spell, Red Mages can bring people back from the dead better and faster than healers can. There is a joke that Red Mage is the Res Mage. Can you just queue up a bunch of different cast bar spells and then essentially queue up each of the cast bars? Yeah, no. So it's like I use Jolt and then I use Jolt again. That uses up the dual cast because it's a cast bar skill. Because every caster gets this skill called Swift Cast, which means that your next cast, as you can see, your next cast is cast immediately. So usually, healers, I should hide the chat bar, like cast offensive then res, yeah. So normally healers will save their Swift Cast for a res, so that if because like res, hey, you see that nearly 10-second cast time for raise? So healers will typically, if you are down, wait for their Swift Cast to come up, then do Swift Cast for raise on like your person, on like whoever's down, and then immediately, you know, start trying to heal that person. However, Swift Cast has a recharge time of 60 seconds. So that means do you wait a minute for Swift Cast to come back before you can, like, you know, Swift Cast raise? Or do you try to see if you can stand still for 10 seconds and just, like, cast them normally with the full raise? Or you can, you know, be a Red Mage and do Jolt and then pretend raise works. Pretend that was a raise and then, you know, Jolt again and then do another raise with the Swift Cast. And it will, as you can see, it costs like, you know, 2,400 MP, which is going to absolutely drain your MP. But you can bring like, I think it's like 3-ish people back from the dead before a healer's like Swift Cast gets back up. There is a reason why, if the party is in trouble and multiple people are dead, there is a valid strat in if there is a dead Red Mage to bring the Red Mage back up because they can get other people back up faster. Don't know how long boss fights are in this though. It depends. Early content stuff, boss fights are typically fairly short. endgame stuff, they can last a while. But yeah, basically because of the dual cast gimmick, red mages are fairly mobile, especially when compared to black mages. And then if I can get far enough away... Come on, I'm out of combat. Let me swap. There we go. Makes me want to do raids, but you don't like people. Fair. And then there is Summoner, which is basically a goddamn ranged class. Because, provided your Summoner is a high enough level to have Summon Bahamut, you can use your Bahamut skills, which are all instant, so I can move around completely free. Who gives a shit? I can move around forever. And then you can summon Titan, who also has instant cast spells. I can still move around and do whatever. And then you can summon Garuda, who also has instant cast spells, so you can move around. Except for, you know, this one spell of Slipstream. That's a cast bar, but otherwise Garuda is instant. And then there's Ifrit, who actually does have cast bars. Unless you are high enough level to have his little melee attacks. But otherwise, yes, you do have cast bars. You also have cast bars if you are in between Summon Phoenix and Summon Bahamut. And if you are spamming Ruin. But then you can also Summon Phoenix, who, guess what, also has instant spells. If you are a summoner, you are basically a ranged DPS at higher levels. Which is why, whenever I'm doing something for the first time, I will often be a summoner, because then I can do big damage while also moving around. And that's why I love Summoner. I just wish Summoner had more things to do, because hey, what I just showed you is basically your rotation. That is what you're going to be doing from like level 60 to level 90. Is summon Bahamut, summon your 3 primals, summon Phoenix, summon your 3 primals again, summon Bahamut, summon your 3 primals. Like, if I can get back to a safe spot. And a part where I can like change my classes. Like, look at my hotbar. Summoner has like what? Basically like 2 hotbars worth of skills, because I moved some things over here because these are just basically like one and dones. I don't need them all the time. Like, compare that to, you know, Dragoon, who has, you know, a good chunk, or Gunbreaker, who also has a good chunk, or my healers, which also have a good chunk. Like, my fucking crafting classes have more skills than Summoner does. Summoner is the easiest class in this game by far. Once you get to level 60, hey, congrats, you know what you're doing for the next, like, 40 levels. But yeah, Poo-Poo squeaks when they walk, and I love them. But yeah, then you also got your healers, which, in terms of offensiveness, work just like casters, where, you know, you have your, you have skills that have cast bars or whatever. You also have a bunch of different ways to do healing. Every single healer also has a way to do damage over time. Like, inflict damage over time, like poison or whatever, which is like which is, you know, just nice. Unfortunately, both of my healers are technically what is called shield healers. So there are 4 healers, Conjurer, which turns into White Mage, Astrologian, Scholar, and Sage. technically you can split healer into 2 groups, just like how you can split DPS into 3. You have your pure healers, Conjurer or White Mage rather, and Astrologian, and then you have your shield healers, Scholar and Sage. In terms of raw healing, they don't do as much healing as like White Mage does, but instead they will do things like, you know, erects a magical barrier which nullifies damage equaling 180% of the amount of HP restored. And stuff like that. So basically they are meant to be if like a boss is about to use a big attack, you put up a shield on everyone so that people's actual HP ideally isn't what's being like utterly decimated. Which is, you know, hard to show off because I'm not in a battle where I can show that off. But yeah. If you want to actually pick up a healer, White Mage is obviously the way to go. It's the pure healer. It's the easiest one to learn because as shield healers, Sage and Scholar take a little bit more like thought because you have to be like ahead of what the boss is doing as opposed to just like reacting to what the boss is doing. But also, hey, a little fun thing. Okay, I can't really show it off, but so when you pick a class in this game, when you first start off, you don't have access to everything. But what classes you do have start off as a certain class, and then at level 30 turn into whatever. Like Pugilist will turn into Monk. Dragoon used to be a Lancer. Gladiator will turn into Paladin. Marauder will turn into Warrior. Conjurer will turn into White Mage. If you look... Okay, never mind. Summoner and Scholar both come off of the same class. If you start off this game as the DPS class Arcanist, when you hit level 30, you'll gain access to both Summoner and Scholar. And because of this, they also share EXP because they have the same base class. Which means if you are like me and decided to start off as an Arcanist and became a Summoner, you kind of just have a free healer class. Or alternatively, if you really like healing, hey, you have a free DPS class. They are the only 2 classes in the entire game to share EXP bars, which is really weird. But that's just kind of how it worked. I think it's a remnant from the like 1.0 legacy version of this game, which you can't play anymore. But yeah, it's real nice. If you like ever start up this game and you don't know what to do, hey, maybe pick up Arcanist because then you get 2 different roles at the same time once you hit level 30. But yeah, I guess... So yeah, there is also Blue Mage in this game. I don't have it, but if you do have it, Blue Mage is what is called a limited job, as you can see here. Basically what that means is, if you were to, like, you know, do anything here, you can't actually, like, queue for any of this stuff. Like, you can't do any of these. Because it's limited, and, you know, Blue Mage's whole point is that you learn skills off of enemies, and trying to balance these duties for Blue Mage would be absolutely insane. Why the hell would you do that? So the answer is, they don't. If you're a Blue Mage, you can't do these. Unless you go to settings and turn on, restricted party, I'm pretty sure. And then you hit confirm, and then, okay, you can't do your newest things yet, but you can still do older content. And restricted party basically means you keep your level, you don't get like EXP or anything for it, and for earlier stuff it allows you to like solo things. Or if you really want to do a Blue Mage, it lets you do things as Blue Mage. But again, you can't do newest content unsynced, therefore as a Blue Mage. So I believe like the current level cap is level 90. Blue Mage's level cap is actually 80 because Blue Mage can't actually do this stuff yet. But, like, if I were to... That's actually probably a mistake. Okay, no. I was looking at the party finder to be like, hey, is anybody, like, doing a, like, blue mage party of, like, hey, I'm looking to run, like, this one dungeon over and over and over until I learn this skill for blue mage. Who wants to join me? Because that's typically how you're going to do things as blue mage, is you open up party finder and you do, like, a request for anybody in your data center to see. And you basically just, like, be like, hey, I want to do some things as blue mage. Who wants in? And then typically other people that are also trying to level their blue mage will hop in. And, I believe that's combat in this game, unless y'all have any more questions. I am so scatterbrained. Explaining this stuff is hard. But yeah, if there's no further questions, I guess I'll, swap games to Hades and check that out for a bit. Or Hades 2. The early access. I'm gonna take it that means there are no more questions, and as such, I'm gonna go swap. I know I didn't cover healer very well. It's because healer's really hard to show off if you don't have somebody taking damage, as you can probably guess. Also, you can exit game wherever you like. If you try to exit game in a place that's not a sanctuary, and therefore you don't have this little, like, this little moon icon by your XP bar, you have to be able to, like, wait, like, 15 seconds because the game needs to figure out, hey, are you currently safe? But, whenever I quit playing the game, I like to tuck my character into bed. Like this. Good night, sweet prince. Also, let me... Where's... Oh, God. Where's... Step up. Hide that. Nope. Nope. Where's my capture card? Hide that. Hide that. So, yeah, that was Hildibrand in Final Fantasy XIV. Sorry, you're talking about holidays with wine. Nah, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, I'm gonna go, start up, Hades 2, and we can go check that out a little bit. Oh, you missed the healer segment? Oh, no, don't worry, I'm sorry. Healers basically just kind of work the same as caster DPS, except you have, far fewer attacks, you have a damage over time skill, and you have, like, 50 different ways to try to keep your party alive. And that healers are technically split into two categories. The game doesn't actually distinct them, but players do. You have your pure healers, White Mage and Astrologian, which can heal for a lot. And then you have your shield healers, Sage and Scholar, which don't do pure raw healing quite as well, but they can put like shields of temporary HP onto your party members. So that whenever a boss is about to do a big attack, you like pop a shield on everyone, and then hopefully the shield is what's taking the damage and not your player's actual like health. Or if it is the player's health, that they're not just getting decimated. That is healers. Which I couldn't really show off very well because I didn't have anyone to heal. And, you know, you kind of need another player for that. I mean, I guess I could have let myself get beat up by a random enemy and healed myself, but whatever. It's all good. Is it hard with MP mana management for healers since you said they should also do damage? When you were already in a while, your healers were dedicated because MP region was heinous. Yeah, no, so everybody should be doing damage. Every single caster, DPS, and healer has a skill called Lucid Dreaming, which basically ups your MP regen. And so whenever you're like, every class has like 10,000 MP, there's no way to increase that. Whenever your MP gets around like 80,000 or so, you pop Lucid Dreaming, which should help like prevent your MP from lowering too much, because it's really hard to outpace the regen Lucid Dreaming gives you. And then Lucid Dreaming also has a recast time, like has a cooldown of like a minute, so you just kind of like start popping that like every minute and you're typically good. Okay, that's plugged in. So if we were damaging instead of healing, that was a no-go. Yeah. Yeah, this is my only MMO, so I don't know how healers work in other like games, but yeah, and here everyone is a DPS. Everyone should be doing damage. Where the hell is Hades 2? Where are you? Also, I should probably split up the recording. Hey, bye YouTube. I'll see you in a bit.